Hello, everybody. This is Nicole Whitlock with eCom Sellers, and this is the eCom Sellers podcast. I have with me my co-host, my partner in crime,
Kelly, the eCom Mom Ward.
And Kelly and I come to you every week to talk to you about e-commerce news, tips, and more. Today's tip is how to streamline some of your business operations. So tune in. Don't forget, share this out with a friend, let somebody else know about the eCom Sellers podcast. And with that, me and Kelly were actually having a conversation on the side, talking about what was going on in our lives before this. So, Kelly, I know we kind of already had a little bit of a conversation. Is there anything you want to share? I can talk about a little bit of my balancing act of being a parent, but go ahead.
Oh, I'm just kind of tired this weekend. I picked up an extra shift at work yesterday, and then that kind of just threw off my routine for the weekend. I'm very routine oriented. With my ADD. People who are neurodivergent are, many love their routines.
Love routines, yes.
And if your routine gets off and it's not planned, it just throws you off for the rest,
Yes, it does. Throws you off a little bit. So oh man. Well, I've been slammed. I know you have been slammed. This is Autism Awareness Month. There's all kinds of stuff going on. Just trying to wrap up a bunch of doctor's appointments that actually are happening this month as well. And so today has been a crazy day for us. Insane day. And Earth Day is this past weekend. So yeah, everyone is celebrating Earth Day and things like that. But our church was doing Serve Day, and meaning serving in the community. And so that's pretty cool to go out and buy things for people that are in need and being able to serve the community in that way. So I appreciate that. I've been serving a lot of different people, and I'm just grateful for the work that they do. It's just been an insane couple of days, all the stuff that we got going on. We had Special Olympics last week, which was fun and also funny because it rained for about, 15 minutes in the middle of Special Olympics. Let me just tell you, neurodivergent children do not like to be wet. I mean, regular kids don't like to be wet either, but so that was really interesting. And then when the rain went away, the sun came out, they started drying off, and then we could continue on with the races. But it was a little interesting for a minute. But anyway, so we'll go ahead and get into the news. Let Kelly take it away. So Kelly, what news do you want to share with us today?
Let's see. Amazon, they're going to carve up their national fulfillment network, for FBA and stuff into 8 different regions. So they didn't say if that's going to change when people ship stuff in. They're doing this to help lower costs and speed up delivery times, because there's been times where I'll order something and it says like next day Prime, and then when I go to when I get to get order page, it's like it'll be here next Tuesday. I'm like, wait a minute, what happened to be next day Prime? So yeah, they're going to. So I don't know if that's going to affect when you ship in the FBA, because I remember shipping into FBA when I did FBA. I'd send out 3 big boxes, and one's going to Dallas, one's going to somewhere in California, and the other one's going somewhere in North Carolina. So, maybe you get to ship, all close areas, which would be nice on your shipping costs to ship. Yeah. So,
nice.
Yep. Let me pull out my phone again. Also, let's see, Mercari added low-cost shipping for trading cards with tracking. We mentioned that last week, so that's being introduced out this week. eBay is encouraging sellers to post their stores and such on Facebook, Twitter, and other social media sites. I guess eBay wants you to start bringing in the traffic too. I'm like, well... I mean, I do it on Pinterest on my stuff, not all my eBay stuff. I do with my Etsy stuff more, but I will. If it's something that can't go on Etsy, I'll share it from eBay. And talk about Etsy. They'll be shutting down the old version of their mobile selling app. So
Oh,
yeah, they put out a new version last year, and they kind of really you had to download it at the beginning of this year
mm-hmm.
because I was holding on to the old one. I don't like change. Neurodivergent, don't like change.
Okay.
So they'll be shutting down the old version next month.
Okay.
So you have to have that new version right now.
Okay.
So I think in case there's a couple of stragglers out there, Um, and that's really what I saw. But I looked on CNBC,
Mm-hmm.
and there are a lot of places. Bed Bath Beyond did file for Chapter 11, but they said they're not
Mm-hmm.
closing their stores or their online shop just yet. So they're they're filing for Chapter 11,
Mm-hmm.
and lots of other places are downsizing. They're laying off some staff. So, we're seeing a lot of this, going on. And, everyone's like, well, my sales on eBay's gone down, or my Poshmark closets come to a halt. I mean, it's kind of slowed down for right now, but this is the time of year it does really kind of slow down. Not as
A little
much,
bit.
yeah, a little bit. So,
And as we said before, this is the best time to develop a skill, learn something new, master something different, hone your craft, get better at what you currently do, all of the above.
and this is the time of year yard sales are starting up if you are into thrifting and yard sales. I mean, I'm in Texas, so we pretty much have yard sales year round.
Year round. Absolutely. Year round. She is telling the truth. It is a year round thing around here.
Maybe during the February there's not as many, but you know, I know that I know my schedules of church sales too, and I know there's usually a couple I look for at the end of April, beginning of May. So I'm praying that the one I really like to go to is not on the same day as my martial arts tournament.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. So let me go ahead and share my screen and share the news that I was able to find. So let's do that. It's always different for me after using Melon for a year. Not that everybody knows I was not a fan. Okay, so the first article comes to us from Reuters. So Amazon has launched a program to help identify and track counterfeiters. Amazon is giving us the opportunity to report counterfeiters. And so I don't know, this could be a good thing or a bad thing. It just depends on how quickly Amazon pulls the trigger. And what I mean by that, probably shouldn't use the phrase pull the trigger, how quickly Amazon reacts. Because sometimes they react without getting the facts, like something really is not counterfeit. And so people's stuff gets flagged incorrectly. And then sometimes it really is a legitimate counterfeit. So I'm hoping that there will be some due diligence and some investigating and some validation before they start taking people's stuff down. Because, there are some scrupulous sellers out there that will flag your stuff as counterfeit or whatever. And just because they don't want you on the listing. Okay. We already know that. They are not very nice. So just letting you know, I think it was also like in PC Magazine. So this is in Reuters, but you can read about the program. I'm sure they're going to have more information coming out for you to kind of see what's involved and what the impact is going to be. I'm confident there will be some impact to sellers, but I'm just hoping they'll go through and vet everything. So the next one actually comes to us from eCommerce Bytes. And it is about Seller Ledger. So Etsy is rolling out or incorporating a tool, bookkeeping tool, to support Etsy. So it's Seller Ledger, bookkeeping tool aids support for Etsy sellers. So that is supposed to be coming out. It came out last month, about the new tool that came out last month. So just making you aware of that. They also mentioned Kelly's favorite, which is online sellers have been desperately looking for a bookkeeping tool after GoDaddy pulled the plug on its popular program last year, which had been acquired in 2012 from Outright. So anyway, might want to look into it. In the Etsy explains to sellers, there was a post on April the 18th on Seller Ledger. And you can go and take a look at that and see if that's something you want to investigate further. Okay. The next article, did you want to add anything to that, Kelly?
Mm-mm.
All right. So the next article comes to us from CNBC. The layoffs continue. So Amazon owns Whole Foods, and the margins on food are a little different. Depends on what it is. And there's a lot of specialty food that's sold at Whole Foods. So they're laying off hundreds of people at Whole Foods. Now, if you're a person that sells specialty food items or you've got a wholesale account for specialty food items, I don't know that there'll be a direct impact to you because of the layoffs. But again, the layoffs are just continuing to impact people. We've already heard that Amazon's had lots of layoffs, but eBay and Etsy had some layoffs in the last 2 months. And so now Whole Foods, which is part of Amazon, is laying off some more. So we have no idea what that impact is going to be. We'll see. The next one is what Kelly was talking about. So this comes to us from Globest. I do not know who Globest is. But anyway, it's a news article about Amazon moves from a national to a regional fulfillment, which is actually going to be good. I think Texas is going to be just fine. I feel like we probably have the most fulfillment centers of all the states. I do feel like that. Because, there's lots in the Houston area. There's lots in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So I think Texas is going to be fine. But, if you're used to getting your stuff same day, as Kelly was talking about before, you might not be able to, depending on how they structure this. Because I think there was 3 months ago, we were talking about some of the Amazon warehouses were either being consolidated or shifted. You have to go back and look at those podcasts, but this should be interesting to see what happens and how this is going to shake out. So I anticipate that we'll continue to hear more information about this over the coming months. I'm confident that they are putting this in place before or around the same time as Prime Day, which is going to be in July. And definitely 100% in place before Q4. So, whatever's going to happen, pay attention. If you're shipping into Amazon warehouses, pay attention to what's happening, how things are going to go so that you can be prepared to pivot or adjust as needed. The next article is from Business Insider, and it is about Bed Bath & Beyond. Kelly mentioned that. So, they had filed bankruptcy. They've been in the news for a while. They've been talking about filing bankruptcy. Then they filed bankruptcy. Then there's a potential buyout. Then the buyout didn't work out. So then the bankruptcy, they went from I think it was originally like Chapter 7 or something to Chapter 11 or Chapter 11 to Chapter 13. I don't know. We'll have to go back and look at the podcast just to make sure I get those right in the right order. But in any case, there was a bunch of stuff that's been happening with Bed Bath & Beyond for the last 9 months. So this is just a heads up to all those people who have their coupons, who use their coupons on a regular basis to get great deals from Bed Bath & Beyond, you might want to use those. I mentioned that before. I also mentioned it at chapter 11. I also mentioned that I actually did sign up for their, when they were offering it, their membership. I was like, this is not worth it. But I did sign up for it. I did get a little bit of a discount on some of the stuff that I ordered, but it just wasn't significant enough. So in any case, you have a few more days. It says that the company will allow returns of items bought in the next 3 days until May the 24th. So after May 24th, if it's bought online or bought in a store, I guess they're not going to allow returns. You're going to have to keep it. I guess. And their rewards program, you'll be able to redeem your points through May the 15th and gift cards through May the 8th. So you have now been officially warned. Tell your neighbors, tell your friends, people who like Bed Bath & Beyond. I love Bed Bath & Beyond. This might be a good time to potentially grab a bunch of coupons and then go get a bunch of deals. Maybe there's a bunch of deals for people who have those coupons. I have not gone to go take that deep dive, but in any case, there you go. The next one comes to us from eSeller 365. And they're talking about savvy eBay sellers are making big money selling Tupperware products. So in last week's podcast, we talked about the fact that Tupperware was in the news and that they're no longer going to be making Tupperware. And so people are taking advantage of the vintage. Was it last week, Kelly, or was it the week before? Everything is a blur for me.
Last week, because the week before was Easter, I believe, and I didn't join you on the podcast.
Okay. So if you have some Tupperware or you are a seller of Tupperware, just know that right now on eBay, it is fetching high prices per eSeller 365. So,
or just
go ahead.
Or keep an eye out at the thrift stores.
Yes. Keep an eye out at the thrift stores. Absolutely. 100%. Okay. Then the next one is, this comes to us from Go Banking Rates. I had to think about what I was reading. So this is talking about, I think we actually went over a similar article already. We're talking about 10 items that you should buy at the Dollar Tree. You should always buy at the Dollar Tree. And so they have a list. And again, this is another one of those examples of, hey, when you're struggling to source and you're trying to figure out what to source and sell, there's all of these lists that come up. And I will tell you, because of the fact that I look for articles like this, or I pay attention to articles like this, and I like them and I follow them, I save them, they show me more of articles like this, which means that every year when I'm looking for certain times of the year to source and sell products, I get ideas and, what people will be buying. Because there's been on and off talk for about the last 6 to 9 months about recession and prices, and a bunch of people have been getting laid off back to back to back. I think the best thing around this time is to really focus on necessities as much as possible, or things that are extremely affordable. And so dinnerware, drinkware, getting that at the Dollar Tree. Didn't think about pregnancy tests, but okay. Greeting cards. Greeting cards are definitely affordable because, again, most of the time you pay $3.99, $2.99. You can get them for $1.25 at the Dollar Tree. Picture frames, art supplies, candy, all of these things. I agree with this list, and people are going to be doing affordable shopping. Go ahead, Kelly.
There's so much. I get office supplies for my for my business. You can get pens and like I use little stickers to label my items that are already folded and put in bags. Because if I have 3 black T-shirts in my bin and I want to find a specific one, it's just easier to have the label on the outside tell me what each black T-shirt is and what size, and so it makes it easier to make sure I get the correct item sent out to the correct customer.
Yeah, I agree. So pay attention to these types of articles because This is the time where people are making specific necessity type of choices around their purchases. And it's probably going to be this way for at least another 6 to 12 months, even including through Prime Day and through Christmas. So, think about those things where people want to spend, they want something nice, but they want it to be affordable and to make sense. So I think, the Dollar Tree is perfect. And so is the Five Below, the 99-cent store. And a lot of these Dollar General stores are perfect for, summer activities. We've talked about things to do. I think next podcast, we're going to talk about, what to buy for May, or what to source in May and what to sell in May. So we're going to give you some ideas and tips in the next podcast, but be thinking about, necessities. So with that, we're going to go ahead and jump right into, that was fast. Jump right into today's topic. So our tip for the day is giving you a couple of tips on ways that you can streamline your operations to make things either run a little smoother, maybe run a little faster, get more done in less time. There's so many different things that you could potentially be doing in order to streamline your operations and just to be more efficient, or like I said, get more things done at one time. So I am going to let Kelly start with number one.
Focus on a niche. So it might be faster if like you want to get a bunch of listing done to list several items that are in the same niche, or maybe just it makes it you quicker to, I'm going to do coffee mugs today, and you list just coffee mugs today, and you have templates already made for that, so you don't have to make a separate, you're not jumping from a coffee mug to a t-shirt to a toy to a book to I don't know, a lamp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I agree 1000%. That was one of the things that I talked about in the listing challenge. It's like, getting organized, and, if you're struggling with listing fast, then list all the same thing on a specific day. Actually, I plan it out on Sunday. Makes it easier for you to be able to say, yeah, Monday I'm doing coffee mugs, Tuesday I'm doing baby, Wednesday I'm doing lawn and garden, whatever it happens to be. Or, I'm going to just stay in, kitchen utensils, and that's the only thing I'm going to sell. This is also great for people who are doing private label or quasi white label, whatever you want to call it. Modified white label. So, going after a specific niche to focus on. The next one is to sell similar or related items. So
we kind of just went over.
You did, but indirectly. I think, from a listing standpoint, focusing on a niche, yes. And also, having that private label opportunity too. But similar or related items. So an example of that is that Kelly loves vintage. And vintage is considered its own niche. But within niche, whichever one you like to say. And because vintage is vintage, when Kelly sources, she's going after things that meet the criteria for vintage. So her sourcing is probably going to be focused and faster versus having to look at a variety of different things. She knows when she's going to a thrift store where she's going to go look first. She knows exactly what she's looking for, the age that it has to be in order to be classified as vintage. Or some of the thrift stores have already got it categorized as vintage, so she can go straight there. So it streamlines her sourcing and streamlines her listing, because again, she probably is using a template method for some of the things, or she knows enough about the niche or that particular vintage item. Like maybe she's doing earrings or watches. She knows enough about what people are looking for and the words that she has to write when she creates that listing for the vintage earrings or the vintage watches. So you want to add anything to that, Kelly?
And if you have a store, don't forget to put your categories in there so that your customers, if they're looking for similar and related items, they can just go to those categories instead of having to scroll through your whole store to find your items. And that way, when you want to say, hey, I want to put a sale on all my earrings this week. You're not having to search through your whole store. You can just go to the earrings area and put that section on sale.
Absolutely. So that will make, again, you don't have to hunt and pick. That saves you time there. Your listing may be a little faster, and you're selling things that you're already aware of or have knowledge about on a regular basis.
Buying volume in bulk. Lots of people do this. You see them. With me with thrifting, I see people that they will go to auctions and buy boxes of stuff instead of just buying one item at a time. They'll buy a whole box or a whole table of stuff, and they might be there just to buying that table because they can see 4 or 5 things they know they're gonna make their money back on, and the other stuff it might be just extra on top. Or I know some they just save up all the stuff that's really not worth listing and have a giant garage sale one weekend. And it's quicker, so they don't have to go to 5 different thrift stores. They've gone and got what they need to list in one stop. Or you can buy in volume and bulk online using importers and such. So you don't even have to leave your house.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember back in the day, dating myself just a little bit, but Kelly and I have been on this journey for a little bit. And I can remember when we bought the Charlie Brown Christmas trees in bulk, and we also bought Shopkins in bulk. And so creating that listing and just making money, if you list it at the right time of year. So we were listing, of course, right before Q4, and just let the sales come in because this item is already hot. You already know that it sells on a regular basis. You already have those stats and that data. And so if you buy in volume and bulk, like, okay, I'm going to sell these 50 things for Q4. I buy them in bulk in advance, and then I just wait for the sales to come in. Like, it's one of those things. So I love just the opportunity of doing that. And then think about all the liquidators. Like, I know that there's stuff out in the space for stuff from Bed Bath & Beyond and from Kohl's and things like that. And so if there was a specific niche that you were focused on, if you want to get recurring sales, saves you time on creating new listings, saves you time on cross-listing, because if you have it in volume, like as you get sales on other platforms, you're fine. If you have a lot of volume, you're fine. Like, okay, 10 sales on Facebook Marketplace, 20 sales on Amazon, or 200 sales on Amazon, 50 sales on eBay, 10 sales on Mercari, and I'm still good because I have enough in volume. So something to think about, saves you time, and you just have to do the research to make sure it's a selling item, or that it's going to sell because of the fact you have the history.
Oh, it's my turn. Your turn.
Your turn.
Oh, source and relist same items. That makes it easier. You've already done the research, and I do have things I look out for that I've sold before, and there was some stuff that I had bought and then I bought again, and I just on eBay I just would increase the amount I had in stock. So I didn't have to make a whole nother listing and there was times where I went down to 0 and I just kept it in my store still active, just at 0. And then once I got some more, I just bumped the number up. And same with Amazon. If it was a merchant fulfilled item, I could just say I sold out, and then now I got 10 more in stock because I went out and restocked.
I love
No.
I love it. Let me just say, this is probably the best way to run, one of the best ways to run your business when it comes to consumables and replenishables. Like, every year that Oreo is going to come out with 9,000 different flavors. And if you're already approved to be able to sell Oreo on Amazon, or you're selling Oreo on any of these other platforms, then all you have to do is just keep relisting the same products over and over and over again, just increasing your quantities, changing your quantities, and selling the same products. We know that there's 9,000 different flavors of Oreo that come out at different times of the year for different seasons and holidays and events. And so it just makes it easy just to sell the same things over and over and over and over again. So it's just regular. It's like printing money sometimes. And Aldi, Aldi has the double stuffed gluten-free Oreos, and then they also have the regular gluten-free Oreos. And so for those people that know that there's a population out there that want to buy gluten-free, they can source, the Oreos at Aldi's instead of buying them somewhere else, or they can get a wholesale account and source them that way, and just sell the same products over and over again. And that's what a lot of people, when I tell them, you should sell replenishables or consumables, that's how you can create that baseline income of things that sell all the time. Finding those things that sell all the time. And that's a great one. If you're buying our RAOA list, you can go through there and find every single week products that are selling all the time and just add them to your baseline products. So all you have to do is just source those things and nothing else. It's nothing like finding those baseline products that sell all the time. So just a tip. All right. Get organized and build a schedule or routine. Look, I tout getting organized all the time. Like, if you get organized, you'll be able to do things quicker. You'll be able to find things better. There's nothing like getting a sale and not being able to find the thing that you sold if you are shipping yourself. There's nothing like not knowing where it is in the catalog. How much of it do I have? Like, oh, I don't have enough now. I got to stop what I'm doing and go wherever. And so then you're wasting time and you're not being efficient. So building a schedule will help you with getting more efficient, getting routines down so that you can save time, save stress and energy, and know what is selling, keeping track of what activity is happening, and making a note of this thing. I listed 20 of them. They sold out. I bought another 50. They sold out. I bought another 100. They sold out. I bought 500. They sold out. Clearly, this is a hot item. This is one of my baseline things that I'm going to sell. And so keeping track of that information, you do that by getting organized. Anything else you want to add to that, Kelly?
And you can go ahead and build your schedule and prep for the next day ahead of time. Go ahead and plan your next day so that when you're getting up, you're not going, well, what am I going to do today? You already got planned ahead of time. And, so you're not procrastinating in the morning because you just feel so overwhelmed because you don't know where to start.
Yeah. It can be a lot. It can be a lot for sure. So get organized and do some planning in advance, some prepping in advance. As I said before, like if you know that you have a variety of different things. Right now we have a lot of inventory. And so knowing, okay, if I figure out on Sunday what I'm going to be listing for the week, pull those things out, take those pictures, and then split it up. Okay, we're going to do all t-shirts on Monday. We're going to do whatever. And then the listings will go faster and things will be far more organized. You'll be more efficient. So.
Use FBA, WFS, or Fulfillment Center if you plan to do that. It was helpful because I didn't have to worry about shipping when I had FBA, because there'll be days where you have, a lot of orders. And if I was at home trying to package up all those orders, I would be spent the whole day packing and shipping and not being able to do any other aspects of my business. So being able to use those to fulfill items was, is a great idea for, you know, your business if you do that type of business. Me personally, I do vintage goods. I have one-offs. Um, I really can't send my stuff in the FBA. I don't trust them, especially with my fragile stuff, to house it and package it. And
Yeah. I don't ship in breakables either, Kelly, but you already know that. I'm like, yeah, I learned my lesson before. I'm like, ooh, okay, you can sell breakables if you want to. This chick is going to opt out for right now, unless I know how it is going to be packaged. It is packaged in such a way that if you drop kick it, it is not going to break. And there's not, anything is breakable. But sometimes those warehouses, they handle stuff a little rough. But yeah, a fulfillment center can save you time, can save you energy, save you, and potentially save you money if you can't get your orders out quick enough, you can't get them out on time. You're going to lose that money. You're going to have to issue a refund. That means you're going to lose money. And so fulfillment centers, they're going to cost you, but they can also save you money.
It also save you from having to have storage lockers.
Yes. Or filling up your entire house. So yes.
Save your marriage.
Yeah, save your marriage. They can save your marriage. That's true. They can let you put your car back in the garage. There's just so many things.
You're supposed to put your car in a garage?
So yeah, fulfillment center can do a lot for you. You just want to make sure you're into profit before you make that transition, or you understand what the margins are if you decide you're going to do it. That's all I got to say. All right, use tools. There's a lot of different tools that you can use to help streamline your business operations, from using tools to help you with sourcing and product research, using tools to figure out what the sales history is on different products, using tools to help you find the best deal for an item, getting the lowest price or the lowest margin, or getting cash back on different things, or even using cards that give you cash back. I mean, we love that. And using tools to help you list faster. Using tools can help streamline operations a lot. The thing you have to keep in mind is that you should be into profit. You should be profitable before you start using tools. If you are not making money and you're spending all your money paying for tools and you have no dollars coming in, no cash flow coming in, then you're going to be the first one to say this thing doesn't work. So I just want to encourage you, be profitable first before you start using tools. Make sure you have enough in sales, you understand some basic stuff, and then use tools to help you scale your business and to streamline some of your operations, saving you time and sometimes saving you a lot of money. Anything you want to add to that, Kelly?
Yeah, I use tools to help me cross post, which is a big help. And the tool I use also removes the background on the items that I want to remove the background on. So it's like double duty there. But yeah, just make sure that you have the overhead to cover the cost of those tools.
Yes. So don't be tool heavy and not be not be profitable, not be profit heavy, because that'll make you mad. And yeah, it's a different story then.
Oh, hire an assistant, a VA, or a service. So you can have someone to be able to write your listings for you or do your photos. I know people that, they have people come and do their photos for them so that they can do their listings themselves, and they don't have to worry about the photos. Maybe they're just photos. It's just not their thing. Or you hire a CPA, for your taxes. So you're not having to sit there and trying to get your taxes done at the ninth hour and trying to find all that information you need because you didn't deal with it during the year because you don't like to deal with it. So find that stuff you don't like to do in your business, and when you can, hire it out.
Yeah, definitely. Hiring an assistant. Here's the deal. We're going into the summertime, which is great. There's a lot of high schoolers that are looking for a little extra change. If you want to take that extra money, maybe hire some high schoolers to help you with listing over the summer, help you with taking photos of your products, help you with product research, help you with shipping. You could potentially hire those same high schoolers to help you through Q4. Um, if you train them over the summer, which is one of my strategies that I use, I would hire them over the summer, train them, and then they would come back and work for me starting at the end of September for about anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks. And so they knew that they were getting paid. They would come to my house after school and they would get paid for 6 to 8 weeks. And I would always make sure I had that money up front. So it was a non-issue. So anything after that that came in sales was 100% profit for me. And so having someone come in and work with you for 6 to 8 weeks to take care of all the shipments and all of that other stuff so that your inventory can get into Amazon and get checked in a timely manner, or if you're shipping directly to your customers. You know, teenagers, you can pay them in a large Little Caesars pizza and a 6-pack of Coke, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, whatever, Mountain Dew, whatever, Red Bull. You can negotiate some really reasonable prices. And then hiring a VA to do some of that same work. They can't do some of the physical work in your space, but they can do some things to help you with your operations. And like Kelly said, there's services out there as well, not just listing services, but also the accounting and bookkeeping side of it to keep things straight and keep things right. So if you are interested, we have a workshop that's coming up on how to successfully utilize virtual assistants in your business. It is happening this Wednesday in our Wednesday webinar series. It is April the 26th at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can go to bit.ly/utilizing a VA. Again, utilizing a VA, all lowercase, and sign up for our upcoming workshop. If you want to know about using a VA, how they can help you in your business, where to potentially find them, we're going to be talking about some of that in our workshop on utilizing a VA. So go to bit.ly/utilizing a VA, all lowercase. Make sure it's case sensitive. Bit.ly is so case sensitive. So make sure you use lowercase so you can scan this QR code to be able to check out this webinar, get registered. It's absolutely free, and it is a free workshop for you. We also have our Selling on eBay workshop part 2. Is this Tuesday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. You're welcome to join us. You can go to swiy.co/sell on eBay. Again, swiy.co/sell on eBay to sign up for the part 1 and part 2 Selling on eBay workshop. And I mentioned before, if you are looking for some help, some support, some guidance in finding those baseline products that you can sell over and over and over again. It's just a matter of just going to go source them and then just update the quantity. It's not listing them again. You're just updating the quantity. So if you want to find those types of products, you can definitely sign up and get our Arbitrage leads list. You get 200 leads a month for $50. You get 50 leads every single week. So all you need to do is go to ecomsellersacademy.com/RAOA leads. Again, ecomsellersacademy.com/RAOA leads to get 200 leads a month for $50. Definitely do that. It is worth it. It'll save you time and money if you do that, because of the fact that you're not spending time going out there to do the product research. You're not spending time just fumbling through and saying, oh, okay, is this something that's going to sell? The other thing is that we're actually working on making some additions to the list to give those people that want to sell on Canada, adding some leads for Canada, products that don't exist on Walmart Canada and don't exist on Amazon Canada right now. So if you're a person that's looking for a leads list, we're going to be adding products that don't exist on Walmart Canada and products that don't exist on Amazon Canada to our spreadsheet. So we have some columns at the end of the spreadsheet that tells you whether or not this item is a bundle opportunity. In other words, a bundle does not already exist for this product. We are telling you whether or not the listing does not already exist on Amazon, but it exists on Walmart and vice versa. So we're giving you additional instruction. All you have to do is just create the listing or source the item and create the listing. So that's another column that we're adding to the spreadsheet so that, again, if you want to sell on those other platforms, you have the opportunity to do so. And if you want to go ahead and get the eCom planner, you can go to myecomplanner.com to get the 2023 planner. It's still available. You can also get the PDF version of it and also the digital calendar version of it. And if you'd like to get a planner for free, just sign up for eCom Sellers Academy, lifetime membership. You can go to ecomsellersacademy.com right now to sign up to get the lifetime membership. So with that, Kelly, I am so glad that we had the opportunity to connect and to talk about our businesses and what's happening, and also share some tips with people today. Is there anything else you want to add to today's discussion?
No, just I know if even if you're having kind of a slow week, or it's kind of slow for me, just keep on going. Some progress is better than no progress. So
correct. Absolutely. So don't be discouraged. Do not be discouraged. So my name is Nicole Whitlock.
And I'm Kelly, the eCom Mom Ward.
And Kelly and I get together every week and we come to you and share e-commerce news, tips, and more. We hope that you will share this out with a friend. Let somebody else know about the eCom Sellers podcast. We will do this again next Monday, probably the same day, maybe not the same time. But again, this is the eCom Sellers podcast. And we're going to say goodbye for now. Bye.
Bye.